guys, welcome to Compai's Expat channel, Everything Expat. In today's episode, I'm going to expand on my one video that I talked about A Tale of Two Cities, Sosua, boom or bust. And there was one real important demographic that I didn't have any kind of data to really talk about. It wasn't my area of expertise, but I have some data now. So I'm going to read an article that came out today in Dominican Today, which is it's a English newspaper that's all about the Dominican Republic. And let me read this to you. The Dominican Republic has replaced Ecuador as Latin America's 7th largest economy, according to the IMF. The IMF forecasts that the Dominican Republic will keep that position for the next 5 years as well. The Dominican GDP, gross domestic product, now stands at $120.6 billion, above $118.7 billion of Ecuador. It's a lot of money. Earlier this year, the IMF reported that the Dominican Republic will become the 3rd richest country in the region per capita in terms of 2028 as a result of having the highest growth rate in Latin America during the 5-year period projected from 2024 to 2028. What does that mean? Well, two things really drive the Dominican Republic economy. First is all the mining that happens in the middle of the country, the gold mines. Second is tourism. They're the two big things. And we also have a really good agricultural sector. We produce a lot of our own food here, which is one of the reasons I love living here. So we have those two main reasons which is driving the Dominican economy. But we also have the influx of the new cruise ships, especially here on the North Coast, that's bringing in a lot more tourist revenue. Going back to the news article, a decade ago, the Dominican Republic was the 10th largest economy in Latin America with a GDP of $62.8 billion, behind countries such as Venezuela, Ecuador, and Uruguay. In 2014, the Dominican Republic managed to pass Uruguay, and in 2019 pass Venezuela. Brazil remains the largest economy in Latin America, followed by Mexico, Argentina, Colombia, Chile, Peru, and now the Dominican Republic. So let's get into that a little bit. Okay. Everywhere you go in Sosua, you see construction. As all this capital is flowing into the country because it's producing goods and services. Goods being the gold that they're actually physically mining here. And second, tourism. They're able to take that capital and loan it out. And you're seeing it every day. When you walk down the street and you see all these buildings being built, not in gated communities, most of them are being built by Dominicans. They're able to get loans. The other thing is, how many cars do you see on the road? The traffic is our 3rd biggest problem here, in my opinion. I always say water, we're going dry. Second is the electricity. And third is the congestion on the streets because they are dangerous. The Dominicans have cars and they're getting loans to buy these cars. So there's money being lent. That's the sign of a healthy economy. And the middle class of the Dominican Republic is growing, where I feel in Canada and North America, because of the political policies that are being put in place, it's shrinking. The consumer in America and Canada is being squeezed dry. And the people that have the money to be able to get out are taking their money with them and they're bringing it down here. And that injection of capital is also making things more expensive down here. And it's capital that's inflating your real estate prices. If you look at real estate in the last 2.5 years, it's gone up considerably. And it's not coming down anytime soon. that capital is also changing what happens on Pedro Kilasante. Now, let me get into this. You got, I have a lot of guys saying, John, it's just not like it was before. I get it. It's not like it was before because things have changed. The Dominican middle class is growing. So the reasons that you would see people walking up and down, specifically the females, the ladies, walking up and down the street at Pedro Kilasante at night to get money for their family isn't as many as it used to be. But most girls don't want to come down to Sosua because they don't have to. So that's what's another reason that Pedro Kilasante is having a hard time right now. The whole market is changing down there, if you want to call it a market. It's a different world. Sosua and the north coast of the Dominican Republic, even though the north coast of the Dominican Republic has been overlooked for decades by the central government here, it's still getting better. It's getting better because the country is getting richer. The middle class is getting richer. And the Dominicans are upset with how segments of the North Coast is being represented online as well. And that's why you're seeing the reactions of the tourist police at night chasing the girls because they know it's hurting the new investment that's coming in town. So yes, this isn't an attack on any segment of the market that comes down here, but to be able to function down here as a business owner, as an expat, you have to see the writing on the wall. You have to see what's coming to be able to react to it, to be able to adjust. If you're a business owner and you're trying to do the same business model that worked 5 years ago, it's not going to work anymore. If you cater just to one segment of the market that comes down here, you're going to have problems. If you're going to invest money down here, you need to know where you're investing and why and where. There's a lot more that goes into it instead of just buying a dream.